Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Smokehouse Podcast Series. In this world we're living in right now, a lot of people are staying home. A lot of podcasts are going on. Decided to do my own, but mine's going to be a little bit different. A lot of people in the industry are interviewing other people in the industry. The Smokehouse Podcast is mostly going to be interviewing team members of Team Smoke and Brimstone Smoke. I wanted to have everyone experience what I experienced all the time with some really good friends on both these teams. I want you to get to know these guys as well as I do. It's got some interesting interviews coming up. The first one was with Jonathon, the creator of Team Smoke, him and his family. I will have Anthony Call, pretty much our second podcast, and we are going to have some fun along the way, some laughs, might get a little rated R, especially with Anthony Call, but it's all going to be for fun. And I want to thank all our sponsors right here along the way, past and present sponsors that have helped us create this team and this podcast. Just remember teamsmokepaintball.com, our also Facebook team page, our Instagram, and now we have a YouTube, Team Smoke Paintball, which all these podcasts will be broadcast on our YouTube channel, and we'll send them on over to our Facebook pages. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Always leave your comments. We will look at all of them and improve along the way. Most of these are going to be raw, little or no editing. I just want you guys to see what I see and what I hear. And I don't like to do editing. I just want it all straight out and raw. So grab some popcorn. It's going to be a blast. Thank you. All right. My name is Anthony, and this is the Smokehouse Podcast number 1. Our special guest today is Jonathon Call, and I want to do this podcast just because, everybody's at home, a lot of podcasts going around, so I figured, what the heck? I want to thank Matt Morse for getting my background in here. We've got all our sponsors and then Smokehouse Podcast. My first guest, again, special guest, Jonathon Call, original Team Smoke, the originator of Team Smoke.
Yep.
Anthony. There we go, the smoke rings. I figured the first one, we'd just bring him along. We're going to cover a few things today, some team history, how far it goes back, what it is today, our sponsors then and now. So let's get to it. Jonathon Call, welcome to the show.
Absolutely, brother. It's good to be here.
You too, man. Nice beard.
Yeah, always.
I'm getting there.
Well, you got a ways to go.
So,
see, I need mine to turn the color of yours with my length, and then I become a full-blown wizard. So
if everybody doesn't know, I've known Jonathon and his brother. I've known the whole Call family for 2000
years. Yeah. What year did I see? What?
Let's see.
IAO was it? It was the
that
first.
We won?
No. The IAO that we first met each other. Like you were still playing with Center Flag.
Oh, Center Flag. So that.
Yeah. God, what year was that?
98, 99.
No, it couldn't have been that. No, it had to be after that. I think it was because
99.
No, it was after that. It was after that. The reason being is because the first big paintball tournament that me and my brother ever played in was Skyball 2000, and that was before Brimstone and all of it.
Okay, so it had maybe 2001.
I think it had to be. Yeah, it was.
Did we won amateur in 02? Next year after that. Yeah.
It was either. Yeah, it was 02. Yeah, I think so. I meant to get it out. It's in my attic right now, right above me. But I still have my spider with the
spider. I know. I was gonna get some stuff too.
The 50 G's laser engraved on the side of it.
Well, I'm wearing this. This is our. Is this?
Yeah.
This ain't the. Is this the original? This is the
Yep,
original smoke.
That was the one. That was the jersey we wore when we won the 50 grand with Spider.
Yeah. So this wasn't my official smoke jersey. The official smoke jersey was the hockey, the V-Force hockey jersey. The blue ones. Yeah.
Okay, so let's. I guess if we're gonna do team history, we'll go all the way back.
Okay.
So if we go all the way back for like my paintball endeavors.
Yeah.
So let's see. It would have been 98, about 98. My parents, whoever, if you've been in paintball very long, everyone knows,
the calls.
Mama call.
Mama call.
My dad.
We're still trying to get her to a new tournament. Hopefully.
She's excited to come back to one.
Yeah.
Dad doesn't care, but we owned. I grew up in Southern Ohio, in the middle of nowhere. Me and my brother and mom and dad, and we grew up on a 730-acre farm. Like I said, out in the middle of nowhere.
Heaven.
So, yeah. My sophomore year of high school, for around Christmas, me and a bunch of buddies decided we were going to get paintball guns. And my cousin, Tommy, he had already been into paintball and gotten out of paintball. I think, he let me borrow his paintball gun, which was my first one, which was a VM68.
That's the very first gun I shot too.
Yeah, so not only was it a VM68, but it had that giant aluminum expansion chamber out the front
of it.
Yeah, out the front, because the tank usually screwed in underneath the barrel. They would put small, thin CO2 tanks. So he let me borrow that. The thing weighed like 12 pounds, I swear. Yeah. And the hammer was just that solid chunk of stainless steel. So when you shot it, it actually recoiled. So anyway, I got the VM68. My brother, Ant, he got a Stingray 2 from Walmart. And then the rest of the guys that I went to school with, they just had random like Brass Eagle Talons or just something that somewhat shot a really poorly made Brass Eagle paintball. And so we did that for, I don't know, a couple months. We had 700 acres. So we just go out in the woods and just, run around and, pretend like we were shooting each other. If it was the afternoon, like there wasn't really games. Like we just basically tried to shoot each other, which was impossible with the paint and that kind of stuff. So anyway, fast forward a few months, and at the time, the family business was we owned an acre of greenhouses, a landscaping business, and a year-round Christmas shop and florist shop. March of, I think, 98, I'm in high school. Lady that that helped us with the flower shop shows up to get us from high school, and the Christmas shop had burnt to the ground. And so Dad, being the entrepreneur that he is, was looking at me and my buddies. He had already started getting Diablo paint in for us. So he had we had a business license. So he had contacted and met Craig Miller through Diablo and Pat, because Pat was our sales rep.
Yeah.
And we started ordering Diablo and selling it to the kids and stuff, because other than that, we didn't have any place to get paint. We got a couple CO2 tanks and stuff and was filling bottles and stuff just out of the house, just basically so me and my brother could, shoot each other.
Yeah.
So after the Christmas shop burnt to the ground, we kind of like reset and tried to figure out what we were going to do moving forward. And just by happen chance, we were like, hey, let's start a paintball field. And so that was the beginning of Shiloh Fields in Southern Ohio. It started out with just an old car hauler trailer was our shop. And it set out in the middle of a field. We had a plywood kind of field right there. Ended up making a bunch of different woods ball fields and yada yada.
Yeah.
And then from that, within the second or third year that we had the paintball field, Dad ordered a SUP airball field, and this was back when you had the cage, the big squirrel fan that set off the side with the hose.
Oh yeah.
And there's the big line of hoses that crawled all over the field.
Yeah.
And we went through in the Southern Ohio sun, which is not like Florida or anything like that. We went through 2 fields the first year because they dry rotted. I mean, they just were not designed to be a field day in and day out workhorse.
And even the newer ones after that were designed, because I went through how many fields at my place here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And so, after and like I said, we had people tripping over hoses and that kind of stuff. And, but anyway, we went through that 1 year, and from there, and that was really when me and my brother started kind of getting into the kind of tournament scene. Yeah. And I mean, when I say tournament scene, I mean extremely local Southern Ohio tournament scene. I'm not talking about national stuff. I'm talking about backwoods Ohio stuff.
Yeah.
But there was 3 guys that were from about 45 minutes to an hour from us who were coming every weekend. Ryan, BK, and I cannot remember the other guy's name for the life of me right now, but they all 3 had Angels. And these were pre-LCD Angels. These were the old school original. The original Angel. Yeah. And that was our kind of like our first look at like a legit like paintball gun, not a Spider or a Tittman or something like that. But anyway, we started, they ran under the name the Big Dogs. That was their team name. And so that was the first team that me and Ant played on. So the 3 of them picked me and Ant up to play like local 5-man stuff. Yeah. And this would have been what, early or mid 99 into late 99. And we played some stuff at like CO paintball out of Columbus. Yeah. And stuff like that. And then our first big national tournament was we went to Skyball 2000. Went up there and got our absolute shit kicked in. Like, I mean, but I remember, what was it? I was shooting a Crazy Splash Bob Long Defiant is the gun that I was shooting.
Which is really an Indian Springs gun, right?
Yeah, it was a Bushmaster.
Yeah, like Bushmaster.
The Bushmaster and the Bob Long gun were the exact same gun. Just Bob's was milled different. Yeah. Yeah. But I shot one of those. That gun was awesome. I ended up like afterwards getting an eye system put into it and stuff, and only you would have probably kept that gun for a very, very long time, but ended up our paintball shop got broken into not long after we got back from, like, I guess the spring following Skyball. And the paintball or the pro shop got broken into, and my gear bag was just at the shop, and they just took my whole gear.
Took it all.
Yeah. We lost a lot of shit during that break-in. But anyway, so yeah, and I guess fast forward to a little bit after Skyball, I don't know how, but Dad ended up getting in contact with Garen, Dwan, and Garen, Dwan, and Nick. And so me and Aunt, Garen, Dwan, and Nick, our first tournament was Atlantic City, the first big Skyball, and the first tournament as Brimstone was Garen, Dwan, Nick, me, and Aunt, and we played Atlantic City.
You were wearing the blue hockey jerseys, right?
Well, no, at that point we were wearing Diablo jerseys.
That's right, Diablo.
The yellow and red Diablo jerseys.
Yeah.
And then it was after Atlantic City that year, we went down, because at that point Dad had been starting Ultimate Airball and was in with him and Craig Miller, who used to be with Diablo and Draxus and all that stuff. Yeah. They had gone in together and started Ultimate Airball. We went to Mardi Gras that year, and that's when we ended up meeting Sven from V-Force, and he was our first major sponsor. So he gave us all he gave us he gave us all goggles and those crazy hockey jerseys, those V-Force jerseys.
I had mine forever. I can't remember where it went.
They were so thick and so hot, but they were a bounce factory. Like, paint didn't break on those things. Yeah. So they and I guess what was it? We played a little bit longer, and then I guess the next so that would have been February, I guess, of 2001. And then, so 2001 IAO was when we played our first 10-man event as Brimstone with a bunch of random guys from New Jersey. And it was funny because we had been talking a bunch of crap between us and you guys and ended up drawing each other in 10 minutes.
I know, right? So the way I found out about you two was Pat. Pat O'Toole. A lot of people know Pat O'Toole. Has been with, he worked for Brass Eagle at one time, made paintballs, and then worked for Draxus and Key. And,
he went with, he was with Diablo and then with Draxus, and then him and my dad did the smoking
paintball products.
With this, we had the pants. Yeah. All the like T-shirts and hats, and then had some original OG Matrix mods.
The
C4 mod, and there was a bunch of other wizardry that never made it to market. They had those Matrixes shooting as good as they did.
And so Pat and I have been playing together for I mean, today we probably played together maybe 30 years together. I mean, God, it's been a long time. Pat and I go way back. So anyway, he comes to me, he goes, man, I got this customer. He says, Dad just keeps bragging about, he's bragging about these two kids of his, and they want to come play for Center Flag. And I'm like, okay, we'll take a look at them. Well, we never did for some reason. I don't know why. And then, as soon as we got to IO, man, you and Anthony were just, and I was like, who the hell are these two little punks? But I liked you guys. I know we went off and watched. I think I watched you guys play, then you came and watched us play, and then we ended up playing. I think it was the last game of the tournament. Yeah. You guys weren't in it. I think we had to beat you to get in it to the finals, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were like,
because we were just a bunch of. I mean, it was just a throw together. There was the 5 of us from. There was 4 of us. So it was Nick, Garen, me, and Ant, and then a bunch of guys. So the guy Aiden,
I remember Aiden.
Aiden, what's his? I can't remember his last name right now. I can't believe this. Aiden. Anyway, he came up through the Master Blasters and through the whole Atlantic City, New York scene. Yeah. And Aiden Jacobson. So anyway, Aiden was the one that brought all these kids from the East Coast, and that's when we played. IAO and then ended up against you guys.
Right.
And I still remember it was funny. We were coming off the field, and you came over to our pit, and you were like, you looked at Ant. It's like, I shot you like 3 times. I know I did. And Ant smiled, and Ant had real long, like super curly hair at the time. And he put his head down and shook it, and like 3 shells fell out of his hair. You hit him like all 3 times. But he wasn't coming off the field.
Yeah. That was that game. It was in a field that was like there was a big ravine in it. You guys had the high side, we had the low side, and it was just a messed up field, messed up game, and we ended up losing. And if anybody knows, Center Flag was like one of the top rated amateur teams.
Yeah, at the time, like you guys were rocking.
Yeah, we had a combination. Dennis Ashley, who owns Center Flag Paintball, who I worked for. He brought me in to captain the team and run the team, me and Pat, and we were one of the top ranked teams, and then all of a sudden we lose. And anyway,
these nobodies, these kids,
yeah, I know.
these little loudmouth punks.
So
and
that's
some
my
people from
introduction to the Call Brothers, was that game right there. And it was funny because I was the last one live, and I hid in this little freaking little tree bush kind of thing, and I ended up getting a couple of you at the end because you didn't know where I was at. But then yeah, that was fun. Center Flag didn't last very much longer after that.
Yeah, I guess, then Center Flag didn't last very much longer on your side, and then obviously we were looking for more of a substantial team, not just a bunch of throw-togethers, and so…
I actually went to play with the Pro Team Fury.
Yep.
And then you guys were at World Cup that year, and you were scouting me.
Right.
And the one game you came over to, you didn't come see me play the good games. You came to see me play a game that I got sent up the friggin' middle. I ended up shooting 2 or 3 guys, but I didn't last a couple of minutes. I come off the game, you guys are giving me shit. I'm like, oh, great. They're coming to scout me, and But I think I was already on the team after that.
I mean, that was just a formality. Yeah. So God, that first squad, it was like, so it was me and Ant, you and Pat. There was TF.
Yeah.
Nick and Garen.
Well, I know our first tournament as Smoke was Smoke this and Smoke that at the Memphis Indoor.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, you guys had your 5, and it was me, Kenny Shell from Asylum, Pat. There was some young kid, I can't remember. He played with us for a couple.
Jason Villarreal.
Yeah. And then, was it Higman? Was it Higgy?
Sigmund. No, it was Sigmund.
Sigmund.
Chris Sigmund. Higman never played for us.
No, Higman. Yeah, it was Sigmund. Yeah. And
there was TF and SF.
Yeah, I know. Trying to think who
I don't know how PG we're trying to keep this or not. But.
I got the picture somewhere. But yeah, it was like Smoke.
And Deaver was there.
Jay Deaver. Crazy Deaver. That's who it was.
Yep.
And
then our squad was me, Ant, our buddy Nate, and Nick and Garen.
Yeah. And then after that, we just basically formed the 2 teams together, and
it was always Smoke this and that, and then the 10-man got together, and and then
what was our first 10-man?
It would have been
LA.
The jersey that you're wearing. The jersey that you're wearing, and it was at SC
Village, and Hollywood Park. Yeah. You had a good game that one against Protein, wasn't it? Was that against Rage?
It was against Rage. Yeah, it was it was Rage on the Diablo field, and I got into one of those little the old school little crosses, the little plus signs that set on the field, and it was ridiculous. But I had my matrix. I had a Shock Tech matrix, and I had an 18-inch freak barrel that I was shooting. But what was nice was I could lay that freak barrel into that plus sign, and I could just move my barrel over, and it would make a perfect V right around my barrel. And so I could shoot out of it with basically nothing hanging out.
It was funny because if people who's never been to that field back in the day, which was one of the nicest fields that we ever played. They had the old Super Airfield that you're talking about, but they didn't have the tubes running around.
What they had the tubes were underground.
Underground.
Yeah, they had PVC pipe laid out underground and brought it.
And it was kind of like in a bowl, and we were watching it from up here, and you couldn't even see you in that little cross. It was just like you said, a cross.
Yeah, it was a little plus sign.
See you, but we just kept seeing bodies come off.
Because they kept filling people through, and they didn't know where I was, and they just kept filling people through, and I kept shooting. I think I ended up like 5 or 6 smokes on that game.
Now
they just kept feeding people to me.
Now was our new teammate that's on Team Smoke right now, Mark Island, playing for Rage back then?
No. That was way before Marky started.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Marky started, and again, he can correct me.
7-man.
Marky picked that up with MPPL and 7.
Okay, 7-man. All right.
But I remember, I caught one like clear out on the very edge of my goggles.
Yeah.
And it was towards the end of the game, and the ref goes up and like, player, you're out. And I went, where? And I had a giant streak down the side of my head. I had no idea that it was even there because the original V-Force goggles, those lenses were so big that it was out here. I mean, it was beyond my peripheral.
Right.
And this was back in the day, like, you know, when people didn't call themselves out when they thought they got hit. Like, you never called yourself out.
Do you now?
You were yanked off the field.
Yeah.
It took a SWAT team to get you off the field sometimes.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was our first 10-man. We did all right. I don't think we made semis, did we?
No, we didn't. But we won our rage game.
We beat the rage game.
We won our rage game, and we held our own, especially for our first 10-man.
First 10-man. You could see we were.
There was potential there. Yeah, there was definitely potential there.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to grab a charger real quick. My phone's about to die.
So there we are. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. So this is our first episode. Our second episode, we're going to have Anthony call on here. I was going to bring him. Yeah, that's going to be a 18 plus earmuff. If you're younger than 18, you might want to have earmuffs for that one. We're going to try.
That's like I'm trying real hard to make sure that this is all still PG. So
that's all right.
I know, but
yeah, we'll have Anthony provide Pat O'Toole. We're going to have him on. We're going to start with the OGs. Bring in some of the guys that we've known forever, like Jeff Crouppen. You know, we've known him forever, and he came on to smoke. So it's basically going to be a podcast on meeting team members of smoke. We might have a special guest here and there, but I want everybody just to learn not only Team Smoke Down, but we have two teams, Brimstone, which for their first tournament did more than what Team Smoke ever did. They made semifinals their first tournament as a 10-man. So we're really excited about them guys coming up, a bunch of young guys, and we'll talk about them later. But so our first 10-man in SC.
Yep. And then from there, like we really I don't know, the practices started coming more regularly.
Yeah, at the farm.
At the farm. God, talk about meat grinders. To anyone out there that ever had a practice session at the farm, we had, obviously we could make whatever bunkers we wanted, but we would have a 10-man field set up. There was always us, one other team, and I mean, you would grind. I mean, it was all day. We would bring a skid of paint in. We had air right there. And this is before pits and everything. But, I mean, you would play 30, 40 games a day, easy. And it was – you'd get done with one, and we would bring extra pods to the field. And if you had air, you would just spin it. If you ran out of air, if you ran out of air or something like that, somebody was right there to hand you another gun. I mean, it was just grind.
First time, speaking of Mama Call, first time we had there, we had to practice all night, all day long, and then she cooked her famous lasagna that night.
The farm was special, and then we ended up. What was it? The Naptown guys. They ended up, a lot of them played with Atomics later, but it was a lot of the Indianapolis guys would come down. Rudy and all those guys, and Ben Fredericks and those guys would come down. And a lot of those guys were playing or working for a fireworks factory. So we would have
fireworks at night.
Yeah. We would have, the paintball all day. We'd have like Dad and them would play music at night. Big bonfire and everything, shoot off fireworks. And Ant would take people on his hell rides where it was a handle of Jack Daniels and a Jeep Cherokee going around on 700 acres in the middle of the night.
We had the guest house up top.
We had the guest house, and then we had the cabin up top.
And I slept on that floor many a times.
I passed out on that floor many a time.
But and people don't know, like you and I have known each other Smoke is more than just a paintball team. We're the two core guys, we're family. I mean, all of us.
Well, and I forgot about Kevin. Kevin was always a part of those original squads
BBD.
as well. Yeah. BBD.
BBD.
For those that don't know, if you ever hear us saying the BBD, it's the Big Black Delicious.
Delicious, yes.
The Big Black Delicious.
He is the man.
The BBD. Yeah. He was just at the farm the other day. He stopped by.
I know. I saw the pictures. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. He rode his Harley out and stopped by and saw the family.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. We've known each other. Even when Smoke basically quit, we were still all friends. We all kept together. We all talked to each other every now and then.
After, obviously X-Ball came about, and we dabbled in X-Ball, and that just
our first practice as a pro team, X-Ball, we were at Detroit Indoor. Remember that? We got the matrices that practice. We pulled them out of the boxes.
Yep. And
we left with some bruises on it. We had bruises on people, but we also left with bruises on.
Well, yeah, because after the first few rounds, we were because we were so used to practicing Badlands style.
Yeah.
Where you went over to the chrono and you and it didn't beep, and then you're just like crank it up.
So Jonathan and Anthony, first time at Badlands, we had a practice at Badlands, and I grew up playing at Badlands. I played against practice all the center flag. That was our home field. We practiced at Badlands. Before that, I practiced at Badlands. And the first time Jonathan and Anthony came to Badlands for practice, I'm shooting over Crony, and it's like, 320, 330.
Well, no. The first shot was like 299, 298, and you're just like, turn it on up.
Yeah.
305, turn it on up. And me and Anthony look at each other like,
yeah. They're looking at us like, what? Like, oh, no, if you don't shoot 320, 330 at Badlands, you need to go home.
Yep. Yeah, so that same day, I remember, what was it? It was one of the dad from the Saber Wolves, Adcock. They got into it. Not only did I see that, but there was also a fist fight.
Oh,
because they got into right. But that was just it. We got truly indoctrinated into Badlands.
Yeah.
We realized that you don't walk on the field without shooting 320, and somebody got into a fist fight.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't
Midwest
Far
Chicago.
Side, if it wasn't Far Side, it was Detroit Fusion, Caesar's team.
Yep.
Or it was Shock or Shock Tech.
This was a big practice. I remember that because if I remember right, it was the Adcock dad got into it because somebody touched his kid. Because somebody had accused somebody of wiping a hit because that never happened. The person accusing the person of wiping a hit had never wiped one.
You always knew if you're playing Shock, you were never going to win. No.
God, I remember, what was it? One time we were out there practicing, and Spud and Rennick were just walking around. Spud was hammered, and Spud borrowed a guy's set of goggles and was army crawling out into the ladder field. No gun. There's a game going on, and Spud just crawls under the net and is army crawling out through the field. And then he gets shot, starts yelling, and runs back off the field.
Yeah. We practiced Shot Tech out there quite a bit. Smoking shot.
With us. That was when Brock and Tim and and all them were on Shot Tech.
No matter what, we would practice him every weekend, and all of a sudden we go to freaking California or Vegas, and who do we play? The team we practice against.
Always. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So again, like back onto the history timeline, X-Ball came about. We did a little bit of X-Ball. Wasn't really big into it. And then –
But we shot more paint than any other team.
We shot 75 cases our first X-Ball.
Well, that's when X-Ball was what? Cases. It was
two 15-minute halves.
15-minute halves, yeah.
And there was no ramping. It was whatever your damn cheater gun could shoot.
And our matrix could shoot.
And our matrices were dumb.
Yeah.
When you learned that the old LCD matrix boards, you used the 9 volts that you took out of your hopper that were too dead to run your hopper, and it would glitch out the board, and it would add so many shots. You'd have to hold the trigger down to keep the gun from shooting.
We call Jonathan, we've called him this forever, the mad scientist, because no matter what, no matter if we got new guns from what company or anything, he would figure out somehow.
Yeah, first thing I do is tear it apart and figure out what was going on. And I remember that matrix. I had hand built a bolt kit from like 3 or 4 different bolt kits, had a bunch of prototype stuff from Pat. And I remember you would gas. I had a bunch of weird O-rings and stuff in it that kind of worked. And you'd gas it up, and it would leak air out of every orifice that the gun would possibly have. You pull the trigger, and it would all seal. But it was as light as what the level 10 mag mods were, but it was a Matrix. It didn't sound like a Matrix. I don't know. They were
so quiet, and they had their distinctive sound. You could tell who was shooting a Matrix or not. Yeah.
The other funny thing about those old LCD boards was there was the Batman button on them. So the Batman button, so there was 3 buttons on the back of it. And one of them, if you held the button in and you pulled the trigger, it would hold the bolt forward. So the dwell didn't affect the bolt. So you could be shooting like 295. You'd never do it in a game, but it was always just funny to like at practice or something, be on the side of the field, shoot somebody with it. But it would add about 35 feet per second to your shot if you just held that button and pulled the trigger. You couldn't shoot it fast, but it was always funny to prank with somebody and crack somebody with like a 335.
Like I said, the mad scientist. When we first got our G-Techs, G-Max from Planet Eclipse, you were the first one to come up with a trigger mod for them.
Yeah. So
all the GZ guys are telling
it was aluminum foil and glue and extracurricular activities to get my brain right to figure out what was wrong with it. But I always enjoyed tinkering with stuff. We went, let's see, we won the last year of Tin Man.
We won Chicago.
Yeah, we won Chicago and we won the series.
So we went from X-Ball and we went right back to Tin Man. Our first event was Chicago and we won.
Won Chicago, and then finished out the series on that.
Yep.
And then what I guess was the next year the switch to 7-man pro?
Yep.
Yeah. The next year was the big switch. I remember me and my brother were in Seattle out there visiting the game studio that made the first Greg Hastings game.
Yeah, Greg Hastings.
WXP in Seattle. And we were at the Edgewater Hotel when Dad got the call from Sonny Lopez from War Games JT. And they offered us a stupid sponsorship contract, but they wanted us to be the title War Games team the next year. And that's when we came out. And I guess, let me think. Did we have the Carnivores right out? Yeah. The Carnivores was the big gun coming right out the gate.
Right.
And, we shot Carnivores and started playing the NPPL 7-man pro. We had pretty good success. I have to thank War Games and all that for all of the stuff, but my God, when you're shooting a carnivore in an egg, shooting severe paint against people with halos and intimidators and egos, and good paint, not severe. Severe, you would either drop it from an inch and it would shatter, or you could throw it at the ground and it would bounce. It was a clear shell with blue stripes on it and a neon pink fill.
Kind of like
so
a tiger
you could
stripe,
see
right?
it. Yeah, it was like LT gray, the old RP Shearer LT gray or whatever. Yeah. But it was a blue stripe and a neon pink fill. It was like shooting laser beams, right? Except not straight laser beams. They did this. But you could see that paint for a mile away coming at people. So we were so outgunned. We won games. Yeah. I think our best finish was we finished 3rd or 4th in Denver.
I mean, you look at the old videos and it looks like the guns were just ripping.
Well, they were, but we had to have techs going around with us every game to keep them running.
I mean, Cocker's a great gun. I've been a Cocker guy since, I was Cocker when I first met you.
Well, and Cockers in the mechanical world work.
They do.
But when you try to ask that platform to compete at that speed, there's just too many things happening for it to work and function properly. The QEVs and the eyes and that kind of, that was the other thing, was the eye systems could never be as good because half the time they were looking at something, they were looking at a bolt that was sitting in front of it.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, we
Bud,
did all right.
Bud was a friend of all of ours, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I've known Bud forever, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, we hung out there at Bud's house, his compound. It wasn't a house; it was a compound. And then did 7-man for a few years, and then the TV show happened, the UAPL on WGN.
Everybody doesn't know that's a little kickoff from the Ultimate Madness.
Yeah,
Everybody knows the Ultimate Madness.
Yeah, the people that don't are too young to understand it, but the people from back in the day, it was like
the funnest tournament to go to.
It was the funnest tournament.
It was
we were the largest
6 fields.
There was 6 fields inside of this Big Sandy Arena in Huntington, West Virginia, which sounds weird that it's in the middle of West Virginia, but it was 50 by 100. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It was like 12 bunkers on the field.
Yeah.
I guess there was a horseshoe or the home plate, the 2 cans, a can, and then 2, and then so it was 15 bunkers is what it was. On 50 by 100, there's 6 of those in the middle of the arena, and 3-on-3, and it was an absolute meat grinder.
Oh, it was fun. It was the blast. I mean, we put together. That's when I worked for Center Flag, and I came and had a booth there, and me and one of my old Swarm teammates, Rob Walker, and we picked up.
Shout out Rob Walker.
Yeah, Rob Walker's a man.
Yeah.
He'll probably be a guest on here. He can tell you a lot of stories.
Sure. Yeah,
a lot of stories about me, for sure. But I got a lot to thank to Rob Walker because he's pretty much the one who started my career as a up and coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and I and somebody else, I can't remember who it was, and we played in it, and we made it. I think we got 3rd or 4th place. We beat Naughty Dogs. I think I'm the only one who ever in the history of Ultimate Madness pulled a dead man's walk.
Yeah, dick.
It wasn't even a dead man's walk. I just sat down by the dead box and just sat there. And
it wasn't a dead man's walk. I just pretended I was dead.
I just sat there, and they didn't pay attention to me, so I got up and shot him in the back, hung it, and won it. And, yeah. So. But yeah, that was the best. I mean, Ultimate Madness, and it was a party afterwards. And,
we did it 3 years, and the last year, if I remember right, we had 248 teams. It
was huge. I mean, it would go on for 2 days, solid.
It was. It was because with it being inside, the lighting never changed. So I mean, it was. God, I remember it though. But I had, obviously, I was part of my dad's slave labor.
And I didn't even know you guys then. I had no clue who you guys were then. We just went because we heard about it, so we went and played it.
Right. I remember that last year I was up for 36 straight hours because I was helping build everything, and then when everyone that was building the cages left, I was running cameras and stuff and running audio visual equipment, and then I'd still be there in the morning when everyone would show back up to keep working on the stuff. And then I would ref. And God, reffing in that was just a nightmare.
Well,
Yeah.
Did you ever ref? No, never reffed it.
Yeah, okay.
No, I played it.
Yeah.
I just saw somebody
we played it the last
year.
year.
Oh, did you?
Really? Yeah, we played it the last year. We had a pro-am because it was for the –
Oh, that's right.
Not a pro-am.
Yeah.
We had the pro thing because it was building up, trying to get stuff for the
UAPL?
Yeah. Yep. And, God, we sucked through prelims. But, again, I'd been up for 36 hours, and then I had to go play. And, I mean, we barely made it in. We were last spot out of prelims. And then ended up rolling through semis and getting into finals. And I remember it was funny. We were playing Dynasty, and I kick out from the can to the Aztec on the Aztec side. And it was me, Ant, and C Nasty.
C Nasty.
Rest in peace.
Yep. R.I.P.
Yep. And we ended up, C Nasty went up the middle, Ant was in the back can. I kicked out to the Aztec, and as soon as I filled into the Aztec, I hear the call that my mirror had filled, and I knew that was Ollie. So I come out on the tape, and there's a ref setting right in line with down the tape, and he hadn't realized what was going on. Well, me being the guy that I am, I just started shooting the ref because I knew Ollie was looking at the exact same thing I was. Difference being, I'm an asshole. He's not. So I start shooting this ref, and the ref immediately moves, and it's like clack, 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 and then my ball goes right past the ref and hits Ollie. Oh. And then I duck in out of his shot. So, yeah.
So that led into, I guess,
yeah. Oh. And then that led into and then ended up, I think Dynasty ended up winning that, which was fine because we wanted to, but Dynasty was rolling everything at the time, and had we gone in and ended up like winning it, it's our tournament, whatever. We were just finally glad. We were just happy that we finally got a chance to play the Madness after working it and, killing ourselves for 3 years.
So that led into the UAPL.
Yeah, the TV show. We had 36 episodes on WGN out of Chicago.
Yeah.
We filmed in Vegas, and I actually moved to Chicago and worked on the editing of a lot of that stuff.
I was telling Matt today, and he's like, "What?" He goes, "All this editing I'm doing, how come he's not doing it?" I was like, "You know what? I think he actually went to school for that."
No, I went to school for audio engineering, not for video. But the software I was using was very, very similar as far as the way to cut and blend stuff. Yeah. But if I remember right, too, the modern voice of paintball, not the old school voice of paintball who plays for us, Danny Manning, but the modern voice of paintball, Matty Moe, got his start announcing because he was one of the UAP announcers.
UAPL announcers, yeah. Yep.
He would come out and announce the UAPL stuff. And God, again, meat grinder. Because it was one thing at the Madness when it was a lot of AM teams, but when you get out to the UAPL, you had us and Strange, and Dynasty had 2 squads, and just everybody was in that, and it was just, it's just a meat grind. And again, we're not talking about 10 balls a second ramp. We're talking about full-blown just hatred coming out of these guns.
That's when you graduated from the Cocker to...
Yeah, we had a big kind of... Our Cockers, we were shooting the Black Magics, and we had a lot of issues the first weekend. And we called them, and there was a discussion, about what was going on with the guns. And there was a decision to switch from that stuff. And then that's when we had already had a relationship with Jacko and Planet.
Yeah.
Because, all the electronics originally on the Cockers were E-frames. Yeah. And so we always had worked with them and stuff on that. And so we ended up calling up Jacko, and within 2 days, we all had Egos, Ego 1s, the original Egos. And that was just, God, that was a night and day difference to just go from something that felt like it was about to fall apart, not because it was poorly made, but just because it was all this stuff going to just a machine gun.
Black Magic still had the back block, which
they were not.
Oh, you're talking about the newer Black Magic that had.
Whatever, I can't remember.
That had the war game.
It had the Delrun sleeve. Yeah, and it had the Warframe, which that was a whole other issue. Yeah. That frame had pin jumpers. You didn't have settings that you could go.
Yeah, you took those little
jumper pins out.
And then put it in. Yeah, if you wanted. Yeah.
I don't know who over there thought that was a good idea, but that was a horrible board.
Well, Bud wasn't in it then, right? Or was he still?
No, that was Bud had gotten out of it, and I think that was when
Was it Brass Eagle or was it?
Well, Brass Eagle, JT, and War Games all got bought by that big conglomerate, and I don't know. And that's when it all went downhill from there. But anyway, that's when us and Planet got together, and we've, throughout the rest of the time that Smoke's been a team, we've shot Planet Eclipse stuff.
Planet Eclipse.
Yeah. Well, it's up
there.
There it is.
Right there.
And so, we shot those original Egos, and then as sad as the story goes, like that last year, the UAPL was the same year as the housing crash.
Yeah.
And that's when Smoke took its long hiatus.
That's right.
So,
but we all you and I still kept in touch. I know that.
We would always talk online about getting a reunion together.
Yeah, we always did. And then when Tim, and speaking of Tim, people don't know this. I tell this a lot.
Oh, it's God.
Speaking of the farm, Tim and who was the other one?
Tim and Lunchbox.
And
Tim and Lunchbox came down and tried out for us.
They played for Tip and Effect.
They played for Tip and Effect, and for whatever reason that we had,
thank you.
We didn't pick them up. Yeah. And Tim goes on to have, a storied career in professional paintball.
Still playing and
still a legend.
Kicking ass. Yeah.
Yep.
Plays for Damage now.
Yep. And then what was it? I saw Lunchbox. Well, I didn't go to ICC last year.
Lunchbox was in Chicago last year.
Well, he was at ICC the year before, and I remember running into him.
Yeah.
And then I missed a lot of last year. I had my first son.
Yeah, tell us about what's been happening at the call residence.
So we got back together, I guess, in Atlanta and stuff, and I was playing, and we played. Yeah, and then we played ICC, and then almost a year.
Yeah.
Almost a year. Hold on, just real quick as far as my family. Almost a year ago, it's April 8th. So coming up here soon, we had River. And I've realized that being a father to an infant is a constant battle to keep them from killing themselves. Because he's already into everything, and he loves chewing on cords and trying to pull everything off onto his head that he possibly can. So,
and being a father of three, Jonathon told me the news. I told him, I said, cherish it, man, because it's one of the best things ever.
And so obviously last year I basically, after getting back into it, then I took a break because I had that, but
we tried, man. We tried all year last year, and we tried.
Yeah. I was trying to make the ICPL this year, but I had a damn tree fall through my shed.
Yeah.
A month before the tournament. Yeah. So anyway, so Tim had the very first ICC, and I saw it, and I'm like, man. So I started contacting all the Smoke guys. I was like, well, I heard about it before he had it, so I was tried to get everybody together, and that's when we were really thinking about trying to get into that first one,
but it just never came about.
We just couldn't get it materialized.
So then when I saw Lane Wright had his Paintball Atlanta had a 10-man, I was like, man, we got to get the band back together. So I called Pat. Pat goes, I'll play, but you do it. You get the team together. If you get the team together, I'll play. I'm like, Pat, I'll get the team together. So it was just call after call after call.
Yeah.
That was
and it was a lot of it was
almost all the OGs.
Well, there was me, you, Ant, Pat, Kev were the original OGs, and Garen. And then Tristan played.
Yeah.
And then we picked up the tripods.
The
tripods.
Nobody knows what the tripods are.
So the tripods are the Williams brothers from Paintball Asylum in Louisville, Kentucky. And I remember the first time we had a practice at Kenny's field.
Yeah.
Because Kenny and Deaver played for us.
Yep.
And Kenny had opened up his field actually at Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
One of the most haunted places in the world.
Yeah. And so in the shadow, literally in the shadow of that field, or the pro shop was in the building.
In the asylum.
Yeah, in the asylum. And so in the shadow of that building, he had that. And I remember the first time we were there, I saw this guy and just didn't think anything of it. And then I get up to the top of the hill, and I see the same guy again, but he was wearing a different jersey. I was like, what kind of jackass is just walking around changing jerseys? And then I walk down, and I see him again, but he's in a different jersey. And I was like, what is going on here? Come to find out, it's the triplets. It's the or the and I remember. And another guy that I met there for the first time was Fish.
Fish.
We were the ones that started that. Yeah, the whole Fish nickname, because he kept saying that. What was the movie? Ladies Man.
Yeah,
and he's like, would you like a fish sandwich? So it always stuck. He was Fish from then on, and the tripods were tripods from then on. You didn't. It's
they
Tim,
were raw back then, though. I mean,
they were.
they were raw.
God, we used to just obliterate those kids and turn them into damn fine paintball players.
Yeah, they always wanted to play for Team Smoke, and then we finally
and when we were trying to fill a roster, like they were the first people we called to fill a roster because they kept
got the jersey. Like, man, we've been waiting on to put this jersey on for years
and years.
So, but we got the tripods and
and Logan played with us.
And which is now back on Brimstone.
So we did all right. I mean, we didn't have anybody hang on us. We didn't hang a lot of flags.
Well, what cost us was the rest on that tournament, which
for
some reason Smoke always gets something. I had to hold my brother off.
I was going to say it has nothing to do with my brother telling every ref that where they can go and what they can do when they get there.
Yeah. So
And I remember the one game I'm laying in the snake. I had already passed the 50 of the snake. And some ref comes over and goes, "Player, you're out." And I was like, "What? No one's even shot at me." He's like, 1 for 1. It was the first 1 for 1 called the entire tournament. And I'm like, "Are you?" Yeah. And then I lost my cool on that one.
Yeah.
Slammed a pod into a hyperball tube and it exploded. And
I mean,
I heard rumors and
Smoke is.
We've always had that issue.
We have always been known as the, I don't know, dirt bags or
that dirty Mid-South or Midwest, bro.
Yeah. And
that dirty Midwest.
And I
you
knew
get nothing for free in the Midwest, man. You gotta grind for it all. You gotta hustle your stuff.
So we've been, we're known for a few things, but the first game in Atlanta, the very last guy was at the dead 50 in this little plywood board, and there was a little window through it. And I came up and just freaking put 2 in his head. And then I'm walking away because I knew that was the last guy. That was Smoke 10. I'm walking away. Here comes Pat around to the side and just lights him up. I was like, oh, yeah, Smoke's back.
Yep.
Yeah, they got into a little tip, and I was like, oh, yeah, we're good now.
Yep.
But, yeah. So.
Yeah, and we've had a semi-altercation at pretty much all the events that I've played.
I had held Anthony off from that one. Kevin got into it a little bit, too. So, and then the next tournament after that, I had ICC. I had to hold Anthony off because that was against the Bears.
You had Anthony. Yeah, you had Ant. Yeah. And then there was the alleged incident in the woods with the voice
Pat.
Danny Manning.
Yeah.
Pat
started with Pat.
Yeah, with Pat, and then there was an alleged altercation with Danny.
And
we won't get into details.
President of NXL.
Just leave that where it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. So
an alleged altercation.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody doesn't know Danny Manning, who we've been talking about, Danny Manning was the voice of Trauma Head for years.
The voice,
who actually sponsored Team Smoke.
Yeah. We were always a Trauma Head.
We always had Trauma Head stickers on our hoppers.
We were always a Trauma Head team.
So
more that Midwest grind.
Yeah, and so not the last ICC, but the year number 2 ICC. We needed one player, so I called Tim. I was like, Tim.
Yep.
I tried everywhere we can. I need one player. And he goes, well, Danny Manning's looking for a team. I was like, Danny Manning, okay. Jonathon, Danny Manning wants to play with. Oh, well, no, yeah, let's get him.
Yeah.
And we can't get rid of him. The guy's freaking.
Yeah. He's part of the family. Like,
yeah, he's a big family now. And
Yep.
he's awesome. He's a heck of a player. And
Old school baller, man.
Yeah, I still think that the players we had back in the day are almost still the players we got on the back line and the midline. It's still one of the better back and mid lines.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
When we play, right? When we play,
obviously.
Yeah.
Well, and it would be nice to be able to actually get a practice in, but.
And that's one thing. Yeah, I know.
I
know. Yeah, family. All of us now, we're kids back. Well, I wasn't a kid, but these kids.
I was. Yeah, I was. I
met you, and I think you were 15 or 16 when I first.
No, I was older than that. I graduated in high school in 2001. So I would have been.
You were still in high school when we first met.
Yeah, but by the time the 10-man was rolling through, I was 8. I was just out of high school.
Yeah.
So I'd have been 18, 19. I remember it was funny because the first year we went to Aruba.
Aruba. So we won IOA.
Well, but we went the year before. No. That was the first year.
That was the first year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So we won Spider Challenge. So we won Spider Challenge at IOA or IAO, not IOA. IAO.
Yeah.
IAO, International Amateur.
Sorry, that's where my fiance works at, IOA.
Right. So, gotcha. Yeah. So we won IAO Spider Challenge. So the event prize was 5-man entry and airfare and everything to Aruba.
Correct.
But then the Spider part of it, we won $50,000. We won the big giant check from Kingman.
And that was if you played with Spiders the whole 5-man tournament.
Yeah. And you played the 5-man tournament start to finish, all shooting Spiders.
Yeah.
And win the event. So first off, Kingman would pay your entry if you shot all Spiders.
Yep.
A little insider tip: we didn't even buy our guns, so we built Spiders Field for the IAO, and the payment for the field on top of them was they sent us 12 E99s, which was the first one. And I remember, I wish I would have got it down. Mine was so ridiculous. I had stupid volume chambers. I ended up going to a box of old Spider parts that we used to sell at the paintball field way back in the day.
Yeah.
I had a 6-chamber ACI expansion chamber on the front of it and had this giant sight rail on the top. I mean, it was just stupid and gaudy. Whatever I could fit on it, I was going to put on it. And the only modification I did to the actual internals was I put a Black Magic cup seal in it. And messed around with the springs a little bit. But, and we ended up – I remember the last game, we won the game and ran over, and because it was us and Tippmann were back and forth for the actual win. Hey, I see a hand in there.
Yeah.
So we ran over because we had stalemated Tippmann effect.
Right.
And so we won our first game. Tippmann won their first game. We stalemated Tippmann effect our second game, and then we won our
included Tim and Lunchbox.
Yeah. And so then we beat our last game, and we run over, and I think Tippmann had to win 4 bodies up or 3 bodies up, and they would win. And there's a picture of us all hugging it out. Their game's still going on, but their third guy had gotten shot.
Yeah.
And we knew immediately as soon as that guy got shot, then that was it. And we had won the $50,000.
Yeah.
And so we went to Aruba that year, and because we had the all expense paid trip for the first team, and then each person on the 5-man squad that won got $2,500, and then we ended up taking the rest of the money and flying the second team down.
Right.
And so that's when we went down and met Jossie, which
put us up in the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, which
funny
by
story.
The way, I don't know if you know this, but Jossie, I think, passed away a couple years ago.
I heard he did. Yeah.
So R.I.P. Jossie.
But funny story about Jonathon was we get to Aruba, we get off the plane, we get to the hotel, we're in the lobby, and the lobby is in Aruba. It's weird. The lobby's like open.
Yeah, it's just open air.
It's just open air. And so Jonathon and I walk down to the beach, and in Aruba, it's topless. And first thing you come back, you're like, oh my God.
What was funny, what was crazy is, so if you remember, I'm 20, Ant's 19. Ant is already a lush.
Yeah.
We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
And so when we go to Columbus to the airport, at the time you didn't need a passport to go to Aruba. You just needed a birth certificate.
Correct.
Mom's birth certificate didn't work. Mom had a record of birth, not an official sealed birth certificate.
Yeah.
She puts me and my brother on a plane with Kevin and sends us to Aruba. While her and Dad drive from Columbus to Frankfort, Kentucky, straight to go down there to get to the whatever records office that she had to get to get a reprint of and a sealed copy of her birth certificate so that they could come back and fly in the next day.
Yep, I remember.
So there I am, 20, my brother's 19, and we don't have parents in Aruba where everything is legal.
Yeah, everything.
Like, and so
I don't remember a place I've ever been where I've been asked by walking on me and Garen would take a jog on the beach in the morning, and it was just like, hey, you want some weed? You want some weed? You want some weed? I'm like,
yeah, it was whatever.
Yeah, it's just like crazy. Yeah.
You had that. You had, everyone asking people if they wanted snow. You had San Nicolas with all the women of the night.
Yeah.
It was Aruba.
It was Aruba. What goes Aruba?
But we ended up,
Aruba.
But so we go down to Aruba. And Aruba, for those that don't know, was not played during the day. So Jossie's family owned a baseball field down there. It was a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And so the Aruba tournament was held, you started at 5 o'clock in the evening and played till midnight, which is when the nightlife kicked off. So you would go out and play. Yeah, you would go and play and then get back to the hotel, wash up, and then go out and hang out and party all night.
The tournament was designed for that reason.
For that exact reason. And then you would, you could sleep off your hangover on the beach the next morning and then you didn't play until 5 o'clock.
Right.
And so, so that first year we won IAO, go to Aruba. We won Aruba, won Challenge Cup again as well that year.
You won Aruba because we beat Farside in the final game.
Well, I'm just saying.
The second team, I was on it. We were smoke this and
smoke this, that. Smoke that.
Yeah,
but smoke.
Jay Deaver, that game, he goes, I'm gonna get Zorn this game. I'm gonna run down.
Yep.
I want freaking bunker Zorn right off the break, and he did. Man, he bunkered Zorn right off the break.
Yep. But we won all the major standalone. Well, I guess we won all the major standalone 5-mans that year.
Yeah.
Which was IAO, Challenge Cup at Challenge Park Extreme in Chicago, and IAO.
Gravel pit.
Yeah, we won all 3 of those that year.
Yeah.
Yep. And and then the next year, Jossie had us back because of the success of the Madness. We actually ran the event the next year.
Yeah.
Which was even crazier because then we were down there for like a week the next time because we were helping put the field together and everything. Yep. So.
And here we are today.
Yeah, and now, that was a long way around the bush to get back to the day. Yeah. But
and again, Jonathon took the last year off because bought a house.
Had River and bought a house. We had River. Bought a house.
Yeah.
And then
the tree fell on the she shed.
Tree fell on my shed.
So
shed.
He's back. We're hoping he's back this year. looks like ICC. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be at ICC for sure.
Yeah.
So, got to remember. Got to make sure that the.
So I sent Jonathon a nice little care package last week. This was our good friend. Yeah. Lil Rocks from GZ came up with that last year at ICC, I think it was.
Yep.
Jonathon never showed up. So,
which, by the way, just to kind of throw it out with so when me and my brother were just still wet behind the ears, still just learning how to play paintball and all that, the movie Push came out. Still, hands down, the best soundtrack. The best soundtrack to a movie.
On YouTube,
ever.
The soundtrack's right there. Still.
Yeah. But we
Some
remember
big name bands are in that soundtrack.
Hot Water Music and funny to throw it at Hot Water Music, which is so they were a punk band, and I remember a couple of my favorite songs on that soundtrack were Hot Water Music. Nowadays, my passion is slowed down to fly fishing is my main thing, and it's funny.
The name River.
Well, and to connect it to paintball, the lead singer of Hot Water Music is now a fly fishing guide. So, but anyway, so Push came out, and between Will Rocks and Rocky Cagnoni and the Doo-Doo Brown, me and my brother watching that movie the very first time, we looked at each other and realized that's what we wanted. We wanted to be that.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's one of those like weird. But it what's crazy about that is it's one of those like storied things where Rocky was one of the main influences in us wanting to do that. And then later on, Rocky he played with me. Yeah, he played with Smoke, which was that's one of those like story things that it's crazy to ever meet one of your idols, but let alone share the stage and doing what made you want to do it. So that
probably one of the nicest guys ever in paintball.
Yeah.
He lives down here in Florida. I see him all the time. He's always, hey,
right. Just being Rocky. Yeah.
So,
my favorite pair of shorts I stole from him in Huntington Beach in like whatever year that was, and I still own them. They're a pair of Reef, like cargo shorts. So and I stole those from Rocky like 15 years ago.
We see Rocky a lot because he plays for another team that in mechanical Misfits, which they live the life there. There's always a fifth of whiskey somewhere or beer or something going on, doing shots or whatever. So let's talk about the mech movement. Tim was pretty much the number one guy who brought the mech back in. And then Lane followed with it, and then Tom Cole. But it's just getting huge. It is. And I'm trying to practice. I'm trying to schedule a practice for Smoke in the next coming months. And every time I turn around, before all this virus stuff happened, there was a tournament. And there's a mech tournament almost every weekend now. Almost everywhere. And that's like the old days. Remember you were talking about the local tournaments. There was always a tournament somewhere.
Me and Ant, even when Smoke wasn't playing, we were on some crazy it would always be some stupid field in the middle of nowhere that would just say open. Or they wouldn't say amateur or anything. They would just do a tournament, and they would have a decent prize package. They would have a decent prize package, and me and Ant would just be like, grab 3 locals from the field and just go take their money.
There was always the NAPSA going on. There was like 2 or 3 other different series, and it wasn't always local tournaments going on. It was always something.
Always paintball tournaments.
It got away from that, and now it's slowly coming back, which is cool because it helps out the fields a lot. But it helps.
And with the mech movement too, is is the one thing that I have to give X-Ball. And not to take away from us back in the day or anything, but we were not what you would consider the pinnacle of athletes for the most part. I mean, like there was always your fast guys and your quick guys and your people that were in shape, but not everybody was the pinnacle of what you would think of as an athlete.
I don't think one thing. Well, you had Garen and you had Nick.
Well, and even then, like Garen worked out a lot, and so did Nick, but that was just for us. But I mean, again, you had guys that were athletes, but nobody was a paintball athlete back then. Yeah, that's the one thing that X-Ball has done is it's created paintball athletes. Yeah, right. These guys put in as much time as any of your baseball, basketball, football players as far as drills and learning their craft.
But they're also now paid players. They also have
I mean,
multi-millionaires owning these teams that have salaries.
I get that. Yeah. Right. No, I get that. And but again, they're athletes. But in the same sense, when that becomes the norm, your local scene somewhat suffers because you think that you need to be that to compete. It's like
– But you don't.
So, right, you don't. And that's where the mech movement came in. The mech movement slowed the game down enough to where being 10-man, you had a place for your guys that couldn't, play every position on the field. Because you look at X-Ball, and anybody on the field can play any position. And they do.
And it's weird seeing Keith Brown play
a corner, right?
Yeah.
That even came from like back in the 7-man days when I started playing the corners and stuff was because you had this giant lane that ran out to the snake corner that you had to have a fast guy.
Oh yeah, you have to get there. Yeah.
That was the same.
Yeah. Watch the last tournament. Those guys are sprinting they're not even shooting. They're sprinting to the corners.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah. And that was a big change. Yeah. When the field shortened enough to where you could shoot quickly to the corner instead of the old 10-man fields, which were really big, that you really couldn't shoot corner to corner. Right. When you got to the ability to where you could shoot from the start station to the corner quickly, then that transitioned from having a traditional bat guy that could make the corner to essentially another fast guy that had to be able to get there with 14 pods on his back.
I play corner now with 14 pods, and I'm telling you, it's freaking.
And that was just it. That was, in 7-man, like you had to be able to get to that corner, and you had to be able to carry 12, 14 pods to get out there.
And when 7-man first started, you still had guys doing 20 balls.
Well, 7-man always, it wasn't we were, 18 was
then
the norm.
Yeah.
I mean, and then that was when they looked at everybody and was like, all right, look, everybody's cheating. Yeah. Just ramp. We don't care how you get there, but we have to cap. We have to cap this, and that's when it went to 15.5. Yeah. And then even then, 15.5 was still a meat.
Oh, kids today don't know it. At 15.5, ramping, playing X-ball, dude, you were hurting if you
Well, and you still needed force-fed loaders and stuff like that. That's why, the loaders today, even as they feed way, way more consistent. Mm-hmm. Like the Spires and the new BK control loader are immensely consistent. They never jam. But between the ramping at 10.2 and that, they didn't need a force-fed. Right. So the design changed from something that was extremely fast and force-fed to force that ball into the chamber because the amount of time wasn't there because the bolt cycling so fast to something now that's way more consistent that doesn't jam. But you don't have to feed 15 to 25 balls a second.
You don't.
The last remnant is the rotor, because it's still force-fed.
So is the HK one, right?
Yeah, the HK's weird though. It's the rotor is the last of that generation of loaders, but it just so happened that the rotor was a force-fed that also feeds fairly consistency. I've ran into a couple of issues when I first got back into it with my rotor jamming on really small paint, but it was only a couple times. And
they fixed that with the new one. I know, as you well know, I know Billy Wing really well. He lives down here in Florida. sponsored my local 5-man team here, and I went to Billy's house. You talked about mad scientist with Jonathon.
Yeah.
Billy's lab in his garage is unbelievable. But so his.
But yeah, so and that was the big switch when they went from just unlimited machine guns to 10.2.
Yep.
They were able to fine tune a lot of stuff, and a lot of the guns nowadays.
Well, wasn't it one time the amateurs were 10, but the pros were still at 12 something?
That was in those gap years where paintball existed, but I didn't exist in paintball and didn't keep up with it.
Yeah. Well, I only knew about it because long story short was I left team. My biggest regret was I left Team Smoke. I'm originally from Illinois to move to Florida.
Yep.
A big 18-year mistake, but I ended up owning
it happens.
Yeah. I ended up owning a store in a field down here called Epic Paintball, which a lot of good players came out of. And I ended up.
Keith Brown came out of it, right?
Keith Brown started at my field when he was 13 years old. If you ask that boy today who taught you how to play the snake, bam, right here. And it's awesome. He still tells that story, and for him to tell that story to other people makes me feel good. But I had a lot of good players. Matt Morris, who's now on Team Smoke, good friend of mine. He'll be my co-host here shortly. His webcam didn't come in yet, so But he's a great kid. He started at my field when he was 15. We had a really good team. We had a D3 X-ball team that I took around. We played the national events 2 years in a row.
You Florida guys, you guys got it easy down there. You Florida guys, the Texas guys, and the Cali guys. Y'all don't know what – well, you do, but you've forsaken it. Yeah. You don't know what cold is. You don't know what that –
I played in many a snow – paintball snow before.
I remember playing in a tournament and breaking out to the corner and oversliding your bunker because you're sliding on snow. Paint's frozen. You got to keep it in a car with the heater on.
What was the tournament you used to have? Blizzard Ball?
I don't remember.
I think so. But I left Smoke, came here, started a new life. And that's, still kept in contact. Matter of fact, when we were playing in Tampa at the football stadium, you guys were there, and my team was there. We were playing and came up and saw you guys play. First year was Smoke, and then the next year Anthony was playing with Stone Assassins.
So after Smoke kind of disbanded because of the whole housing crisis and everything. I ended up at that point leaving the farm and moving to Tennessee. I just had enough of the farm, and
which was originally where your family's from, right? Your mom's side.
Well, my mom's family's from Tennessee, so I had connections in Tennessee. It was easy for me to move down here and kind of hang out with them for a little bit until I got established. So we had helped a local field kind of get started up and stuff up there, and kind of just taught them the ropes on how to do everything, and it ran for a couple seasons. And I ended up selling all my gear that I had. I had an old shocker, not shoebox, but like the past the Dynasty era shocker, not the new one.
Hated them things. Freaking solenoids, man. I've repaired so many of them damn solenoids.
I never had an issue with mine. Mine was cool. But I shot one of those for a while, and then I ended up – this was before the Lux came out. So it was the shocker before the Lux, but it was the same system.
SFT.
It was still that long. Yeah, exactly. It was that long pin with the spool valve bolt.
Yeah.
And anyway, I ran that for a little while, and then I ended up selling all my gear and used that money to start up moving to Tennessee. I left Ohio with $600 in my pocket and moved to Tennessee. And that was 14 years ago, I think. Yeah.
I played, I ran my field store, had it for like 10 years, and we ended up selling it and 2009, 2010, and then I was done. Like you,
Yeah.
I sold everything. I was done.
Yeah.
I kept my carnivore forever. That was my last gun I had. And I ended up
that was the
selling
first thing I got rid of.
Really?
It's not good.
My golden black carnivore. I love that gun, man. But I ended up selling. That was the last thing I sold. And I plan on never playing paintball again.
Funny little story about cockers and stuff, just to kind of throw it into today's market, which is obscene. So the guys that owned that field that we helped out, they had contacted us before they had opened the field because we were still making bunkers and stuff at the time. And they came out and met us, talked about field stuff with Dad and that. And I showed them a couple old guns that I had. And if you remember the one year that we won, or I won the Top Gun at Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Yep.
Yeah. It was the only year they didn't give away something with a motor. But, of course, that was the year that I won. Undefeated all the way through. TJ Harbaugh, we still have a rematch. I'll give you that. So
Team far side.
Yeah. So anyway, I went through that, won that, and won $2,500 in Shock Tech bucks. Bought 2 Shock Tech Bushmasters because they were hot at the time.
Yeah.
And I bought a Trimmer Series cocker with the hinge frame. I sold that gun to one of the guys that bought this field for $250.
And now that $2,500 probably get you one gun now today.
That was just it. It was a flawless gunmetal gray, Shock Tech trimmer, full Shock Tech hinge frame, had the boomstick that was matched and everything. And I sold that for $250 because it wasn't worth anything.
I know. All the cockers, I had a nice SFL. I think I used it in Aruba that one year. I sold it dirt cheap too. Not like they're selling these days for, but it's crazy.
The only gun that I really wish that I had back, or 2, the black OG Team Matrix, and then before the Team Matrixes, I had a black to green fade.
Shock Tech one. Yeah. The one gun I wish I had back, which I know I'll never get back, because I sold Keith Brown my Toxics red, white, and blue.
Yep.
It was red, white, and blue. It was one of 2 that was made. I sold it to Keith. Keith's dad bought it for Keith when he was like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Keith's dad was a really awesome guy. Very nice guy. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Ended up passing, I can't remember what year it was, when he still played for us. Super Bowl Sunday, went to take a nap for the Super Bowl. And never
wow.
Yeah. So Keith said he'll never sell a gun, which I don't blame him. But that's more, I know it's safe, but it was awesome gun.
Maybe,
I bought that
maybe
gun.
That's why
I bought it
at
World Cup from Silverman when he worked for Toxic. Josh Silverman worked for Toxic. I bought it from him at the booth, $1,200 I think it was. Bought it from him, took it out of the box, and went and played with my team. We played 10-man that year. And that gun ripped, dude. God.
Maybe that's why Keith's so fast. He was running around at 14 with a full-blown Matrix, lugging that horse around.
The minute Keith stepped on my field, I knew he was something special. You could just tell. It was not, really shy kid, nicest kid, but he listened to everything that I told him, and he ended up being the year we played in, I was telling you, we came to Tampa, we played 7-man. I was the back corner snake. He was my front guy. That's the way we always played. And it was just like, okay, Keith, there's a guy on your left. Boom, shoot him. Keith, to the right. Boom, boom. And we were just going down the snake and boom. That's how he was, and an awesome player. I knew he was going to go places. And look at him now. That last tournament was probably one of the fastest I've seen Keith in a long time. So that guy's just super safe, man.
God, he's quick. Yep.
Yeah, at one time he was like the fastest person in the NXL.
Well, it was always Carl Markowski was always the quick guy, and then Keith came around, and it was just like, okay, There's like another level of speed.
Yeah.
Like, because Carl was the guy that could get places faster than you could get your gun over.
Right.
And then Keith was just another level of speed past that.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, all right. We got through a lot.
Yeah, we did. It was
I know we talked a little bit about our sponsors. We talked about Jocko.
Yeah.
So when we first got the team back together for Lane's event, our first call was who?
Was Jocko. Yep.
Yeah.
And he ended up sending us a couple G-Max.
Before they even came out, we were testing them.
Yeah. He sent a couple G-Max. Yep. Me and Ant both got pulled and had our guns checked because people thought they were electronic. Ant got checked 3 different times.
Yeah.
If anyone knows Ant, he's insanely fast.
Super fast.
I can hold my own, but he's another level. But anyway, so I mean, immediately we hadn't talked to Jocko in years and years and years, and we call him up, and immediately he was just like, he's like, I'll send you a couple guns.
He said, whatever you guys need.
Yeah. And then fast forward to the next year for the ICC, same thing. He
sent us a couple Emacs.
A bunch of us had already bought G-Max and stuff, but then he sent us a bunch of Emacs that for
before they even came out again. Yeah.
Like, here, guys, just whatever you need. Yeah. And anytime we've needed anything, they've always been there.
Always.
So Eclipse is as much a part of the Smoke family now as anybody.
Exactly. And Mama Call and Papa Call have a really good relationship with Jocko, because Jocko, one thing he said in one of the emails, and Jocko and I email each other back and forth all the time. I'm sure he's like, God damn that pain in the ass, but he asked a lot. Tell Mama and Papa Call I said hi. And what they're doing. Yeah, it's always.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And then the first sponsor that we picked up after Eclipse was Virtue and Bunker King.
Yeah.
They've been with us since then.
Yep.
That was the best loaders in the game, especially now that new control is and stuff out.
Yeah. We had them, my local 5-man. So when I decided to come back, play paintball, I put out a post in the local Facebook Central Florida chat, and said, hey, ex-pro wants to get back in paintball. This was like a month before Cup, and looking to get on team for Cup. I just wanted to play. Matt Morris. I called him. I told him I wanted to play. And he goes, well, what do you got? I'm like, well, I don't have anything. He goes, dude, I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I get this package. It's a GO2. I'm like, holy crap. He gave me a GO2, gave me a rotor. I don't know. I think I ended up buying a tank and a pack and everything. Yeah, he just freaking sent. He's like, oh, man, it's awesome. You're getting back in paintball here. I still have the gun. I'm like, Keith, I'll probably never get rid of it. He gave it to me.
Well, exactly.
So a guy named Jesse, who we all know Jesse.
The Muppet.
Smoked for a little stint. Yeah, a little Muppet.
The Muppet.
Tactical retreat.
The Muppet.
He actually, sent me a message, says, hey, you want to play? We got room for you. And he actually took me on, and I actually brought out this jersey out of retirement, wore that jersey for Cup, and we were sponsored by Virtue. So when we after Lane's event, we went in ICC. We needed some players. That's when I started bringing on the Florida guys.
Yes. Yep.
Jesse was part of that, and he was big in helping.
Turbo,
and,
JT.
JT, Turbo, which is still with the team, and then I brought on a couple other guys after that, Jake and Jake's brother Zach, and now Pat. They're part of the Brimstone team, but Jesse was really big in helping us get Virtue, and it was big for us. Big sponsorship for us at the time, and they've been with us ever since. We went first with the IRs, with Spire 3s. Now with some of us got the control now, and I got
a lot of people.
I like it.
A lot of people were running the Spire 3s that already had them and stuff like that, because I mean it's it's the best loader out there right now, and especially for the X ball and that kind of stuff, it's super consistent. And then the control is that just on steroids.
Yeah,
So,
I just got mine 2 weeks ago. I shot it in my backyard. That's about it. I can't wait to get out and play. But it is a lower profile than my Spire.
Yeah.
I got to 280. Just looking at that thing is, but I'm a bad guy, so I want that. But this one's really low now. That lets me look over the gun now to what I'm shooting. So, yeah, it's really nice. So
we, Bunker King Virtue.
The mask. We were actually the first year when they came out with the CMDs. We were one of the first teams to get them. And the vocal. I mean, you and I were communicating back and forth. How is it? How is it? How is it?
It's great. Yeah, they're great. That's there's no echo. They're solid.
Yeah.
And then from there, this year we're back with the company that gave Smoke the opportunity to go pro to begin with, which is JT.
JT, John Rathburn. Shout out.
So rocking JT soft goods this year. Great looking jerseys. I've got the tech shirt on right now.
He's got the tech shirt and then the jersey right behind you.
Oh, that's the old jersey.
Yeah, that's last year's jersey. You haven't got.
Yeah.
I thought I see.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh no!
That one's
your jersey got used
right now.
Yeah. For some reason, your jerseys always get used because you're not there. And I always have your stuff. So
my jersey and my pants are in the ether right now. Somebody has them somewhere.
Somebody
I'm not
has
exactly
them.
sure who.
We don't know who. But we were really excited this year about hooking back up with JT.
Yep, with JT. We've got
more good things to come. They did.
Absolutely.
Custom pants for us that. Man, everybody loved. I mean, I wore them to practice a couple weeks ago, and everybody was like, "Man, there's some nice pants." I'm like, "Yeah, they are."
Yep.
And John, we had like Jocko and him and I were going Proust back, and then finally got it. And then, we're now selling them on our online store.
Yeah.
The textures and the jerseys. So.
Yep.
They're turning out great.
And then one of the new sponsors this year that has become an incredible deal with us is the Deadly Winds barrels.
Deadly Winds. That I got to thank your brother on Deadly Winds.
Yep.
He's the one that went after that one.
And I don't know if y'all have not shot one of these, like they weigh absolutely nothing. Unlike the old carbon fiber barrels like the Stiffies and stuff.
Yeah.
The
and
inside
I love
of these
the Stiffies. My team was my Epic team was sponsored by Stiffy, and to me that was the best shooting barrel I ever shot until
the Deadly Winds barrels, the inside is just as smooth as anything I've ever shot. The one thing that I like a lot about these that I always had an issue with the Freaks, and people, I mean, you've heard me and my brother complain about the Freak system. As great as everything is, the original Freak system had an issue. Well, no. And
because we were a Freak team when we first.
Yeah. So, and here's the issue, and it's maybe it's just a mental thing, and it doesn't have any issue. But the original Freaks, when you look down and then the inside of the barrel, if the O-rings on the inside were not greased properly, the O-ring would roll, and therefore it would be offset. And if you look down the end of the barrel, you could see your insert was slightly tilted, and you'd have a bigger ring on one side than you would on the other.
Right.
It was an issue that we always, if you remember back in the day, Pat shot a straight All-American instead of a Freak because of that exact reason.
Yep, sure did.
He would take the hit.
He's the one that brought it to our attention.
Exactly. Pat was the one that figured it out. And so the new system with the XL, because the O-rings are so much farther apart on the system, it doesn't continue to have that same issue. And with the Deadly Winds, the tolerances and everything on this barrel are phenomenal.
Yeah. I've used it now 2 tournaments, and the thing shoots.
Yeah.
It's lasers. Now we have our own
smokestack.
We got our own custom smokestack 15-inch barrel. We didn't want to go 16. We didn't want to go 14, so we went kind of in the middle with a 15-inch barrel.
Well, 15 is the perfect length.
Yeah,
it's
got our smoke logo design with the devil's tail in it. It's really cool.
Yep. It's got to be the first porting of a team's logo.
Yeah.
In a barrel.
And I came up with that idea. For some reason, I came up with that idea.
Yep.
And Colin from Deadly Wind, I asked him, I was like, is this going to affect any of the, the ball? Is it going to affect the ball?
Performance
goes,
at all?
No, not at all.
Yep.
So I was like, go with it. And then
let's try it. Yeah.
He gave me the test one, and it was freaking awesome. We just got I think we just ordered. We sold a couple of them on the online store. So.
And so let's going down Powerhouse.
Let's talk about Deadly Winds with the new valve.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, of course. So and then Deadly Winds.
we had no idea. So what happened with this was Anthony reached out to them before World Cup, and they gave us a deal. So we all wanted to think about it, but I also told everybody, look, I'm going to World Cup. It's in my backyard. I will hit every vendor there is and, try to get I was on a sponsorship hunt for us for next year. So I went to every barrel and talked to every barrel, and we were close to going with somebody. I can't remember who it was. But then
there's been a couple.
Yeah. I talked to Jocko and I asked him, and he goes, well, send me the contract. What's it say? So I sent it to him. He goes, I'll tell you this. He goes, they got a lot of good things coming out this year. It's your best decision to go with them. We were like, okay. So Jocko tells us we're do it, And if nobody knows, Deadly Wind makes the FL barrel for Planet Eclipse. So we're like, okay. So So as I was playing at World Cup, I just guested on a team, on the Mounds 10-man team, Florida Annihilators, which is a good friend of Smokes. Wherever we're practicing, we practice against them. But one guy on there is telling me about this guy in somewhere that's coming out with this valve, new 3-way for the EMEC, and the 170 is supposed to be super duper. And so I'm like, all right. So as soon as World Cup was over, man, I hunted for it. Finally found it was Brandon Lambertson, who everybody remembers Brandon from old Infamous days. Liquid Paintball from back in the day also is coming out with a new 3-way that just replaces the stock 3-way in the EMEC and the GMEC, EMEC, and the 170.
All of them.
Yeah,
all the stock Planet valves.
And we were the first team to, I reached out to him. We were the first team to shoot him. We were the first team to sell him for him. I know he's got.
Yeah, we helped bring those to market.
Yeah. So we sold 100 for him, like boom, like that.
Instantly.
Well, I sold 50 before the tournament and 50 at the tournament, which was chaotic. And then all of a sudden, right before, it was like a week before that tournament, Colin from Deadly Ones goes, hey, I got some. What guns do you guys shoot? I'm like, 170s EMEX. He goes, I got to send you something. He goes, you remember our contract. You cannot tell anybody or show anybody. I'm like, all right. So as soon as I got in, put it in, I was like, holy crap. So I was like, God, which way do we go? Bang.
Right. And the bang switch is a phenomenal product because it's a stock replacement, and it takes that stock trigger pull and it basically turns it in half. Yeah. Lightens it up and it turns it in half. It's an economical and an incredible way of just taking that gun and just kicking it up to the next level. It's foolproof. It works. The hair valve is just the next evolution,
the next level.
And so, and that's instead of taking the hair valve or the standard valve and changing the 3-way, it's a whole new valve assembly.
You take that valve assembly out, and this one drops right in. I mean, literally just drops right in.
Yeah, there's no as easy as the bang switch is to install, which you unscrew that front cap off your 3-way assembly, pull the shaft out, put the new shaft in, and screw that assembly on. That's still twice as long as putting in.
It takes you longer to adjust the trigger now than it does replacing the valve.
Right. Yeah. Which anybody that's listening to this, if you've put the hair valve in and you're having issues, it's your trigger adjustment.
Exactly.
That's what
That's it. That's all it is.
Everyone, I've seen all kinds of videos of people like, I can shoot it twice and then it stops working. It's your trigger.
It's your trigger. Watch my video on the team Facebook page and you'll see.
Yeah, you have to lengthen the trigger out because the firing position has changed slightly.
Yeah, and so I shot mine. I had one, and I gave one to one of our front guys. So I wanted the back guy to have one and the front guy to have one at the last tournament. And
was it Kenny that had one?
Yes, and he still has
it.
Yeah, Kenny's got one of them. Kenny's got it. Well, we went to put it in the EMEC, but come to find out, EMECs and 170s are different. So we end up just giving it to Kenny.
Yep. And, which Kenny, and Kenny still got the prototype in his gun, and Kenny,
I had the prototype in my gun.
Yep. Yeah. Kenny plays it level up, and I mean he plays a lot of paintball, and it's still flawless. So
I haven't touched mine since I put it in, and it still rips.
Yeah.
It's nothing illegal. All it does is it's a totally redesigned 3-way valve that makes your trigger shorter and it's softer. So
yeah, essentially it's
still mechanical.
When you look at if you want to go back and think about it, and if you remember what the Shock Tech Bomb 3-way did to the 3-way market.
Exactly the same thing.
Right. So you look at like the original OG War Games 3-way was 2 O-rings, and that was the system.
Yep.
And then there was a couple people that made some that were okay that had shortened that up and had made some improvements.
I think Cap came out with a shorter one.
They had made some improvements to that initial design.
Right.
But then the Bomb 3-way hit with the 3 O-ring design to where instead of shifting 2 O-rings back and forth, all you're doing now is shifting 1 O-ring between the two.
Right.
And it completely changed the throw of what you could get a 3-way to actuate in.
Yep.
That's essentially what this has done. So you have the bang switch, which is taken the 2 O-ring design and made it as good as it can possibly be. And then the hair valve is just that next evolution of throwing that design away and coming up with a new design that's just the next evolution.
Both of them were phenomenal products. I mean, half the team still is playing with the bang. Some of the guys, Danny is one of them. His gun absolutely rips.
Right. Well, and the thing is with all guns and all trigger pulls, some people like a longer, snappier pull.
Anthony.
As fast as Ant gets, as fast as Ant can shoot, he prefers a longer trigger pull that's got a snappier point that the fire happens in a certain position.
Right.
And it works for him. I've always been that,
I'm as short as you can get it, man. That's
I used to be able to take my guns and turn them up and hit the tank, and they would fire. Because I would just run with the trigger held down, But anyway.
So I mean, it doesn't. If you want to go the less expensive route, the bang valve. If you want to go a little bit more, to go the hair valve. It's give or take. Both of them are phenomenal products. They both do what they say. If you like a little bit harder trigger pull, then go with bang. If you want a softer trigger.
Well, it's still super short. It's absolutely bulletproof design. It's just
and it's another just drop in, adjust your trigger and go. And we sold the crap out of the last tournament. There were so many people playing them. Yep. Nobody had problems with them. I mean, it was just
and the other thing too, again, if rate of fire is not your end game, then the bang switch is a perfect economical solution to make a much better trigger pull.
Correct.
But in the tournament scene where, as much as some angry people want to say that rate of fire is the death of the sport, rate of fire is king. Everything in any type of combative situation, which paintball is a combative sport, rate of fire is what rules the roost.
Always
has, always will be. And, if rate of fire wasn't a big deal, the gunfighter frame would never have come out.
Yeah. Phenomenal product, Danny Lowe.
Incredible. I mean, and you take a design that somebody had reached the absolute max of,
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, that slide trigger, the way that everything works in a slide trigger, has been done as well as it can be done.
And isn't it funny that Cocker's been around for how many years, and all of a sudden, years later, boom, another product comes out from Danny that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and it was completely thinking outside of the box of using counter levers and stuff to be able to do that.
Yeah.
The CVO essentially took that style of linkage system almost and put that into a like a pilot valve gun, spool valve.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, rate of fire is always going to be.
Yeah. And it's all your fingers. It's each individual.
That's the difference between what used to be and what is now.
Right.
No matter how light and how quick you can get it now, there's no bouncing. There's no dead batteries. There's no cheater boards. Yes, I can get a trigger that's super short. That's just immediate activation.
Mine's right now about 2 millimeter.
I have to pull that.
Yeah.
Even if I'm pulling with 2 fingers, I have to pull that.
Exactly.
Back in the day with the cheater guns and the space race, that was all digital. That was getting the gun.
You could pull the ball. You could pull the trigger 5 balls a second. You were shooting 20.
That was just it. Like, you know, when we realized that when the battery died in the Matrix, that it went blitzo.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, well, we can use this to our advantage. We'll just start putting batteries in our guns. And yeah, so I think this will be the pinnacle of the gun. I don't really see us getting faster than this unless we start getting augmented.
Yeah, I don't think
you start getting reactive triggers and that kind of stuff. Because I mean,
that's illegal anyway. Because the RT, they won't allow the RT mags and stuff. But
I
mean, and it's selling. You know, even though we are sponsored by Deadly Wind, we're still sponsored by Liquid Paintball too. Also, so we sell both of them on our website. Both have great things to say about the people running both companies and the company, the product itself.
They're both amazing products, and they fill 2 different markets. So they both increase the performance of the absolute rock solid platform, which is the Gamma Core, regardless if you're talking an EMAC, a GMAC, or a 170. Which I guess the GMAC version of that is coming. It's on the packaging and all that. We don't know.
It's on the packaging.
We don't know when.
We don't know.
We don't have a release date or anything.
Yeah.
But so, you know, between the GMAC, the 170, and the EMAC, it's all the same platform. Even the CS2, you know, Planet's got a mechanical version of that
one coming out too. Yeah. And it's a funny story. For some reason, you know, Team Smoke has been the testing for the Bang and also the testing for the Hair, you know, and we've been really lucky in that sense that we've got these 2 great products, and Team Smoke has been, you know, the top team testing both these things and playing with them and practicing tournaments. I called up I was talking to Jack the other day, Jack Wood from Planet, and it's like, hey, can we get a couple of those to test out? And he goes, aren't you guys testing enough over there?
Right, exactly.
I mean, if it wasn't for our sponsors, we wouldn't be doing this.
No, not at all.
You know?
Hey, okay, so let's run through again the last few real quick. This was a blast from the past.
Oh,
so Ultra Silk. Caesar. Caesar with Fusion
too. He gave us shirts. Thank you. I gave you one. Caesar, who doesn't know Caesar used to own or captain Detroit Fusion. I know Caesar for years because Center Flag sponsored when we came out with the electronic trigger for the Cockers. We sponsored Detroit, and I ended up going to one of their practices at Badlands and putting all new frames on their guns while they're practicing.
We used to have wars with Fusion at Toledo Indoor. So I remember one time we were playing Fusion, and they had coaching for some reason at this event. So mama call is on the sideline, just, yelling her head off. She had one of those voices that would carry. And I remember one of their guys kept shooting the net next to Mom and just covering her in broken paint. And she was all about it because she just put a set of goggles on and was like, fine, shoot me because you're not shooting at them. His new Ultra Silk stuff is just, I mean, it's as good as it can get when it comes to lube and everything on the
and
inside.
us Florida guys playing in the sand down here, sand always gets in your gun. And I can tell you, I haven't lubed my gun since World Cup, and it's still going. And you can take the bolt. When I take the bolt out, it looks like I just lubed it. I mean, that's the beautiful thing between the Gamma Core system that is literally bulletproof, and then you put something like this in it, and you never have to worry about your gun ever messing up.
No.
Caesar's been awesome with us. He approached us. We were blown out.
Yeah, just like out of the blue.
He's like, hey. So we talked to him, and now we have our own color. Our own green. Brimstone
Ultra Seek dabs.
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 Yeah. So again,
dabs are always prevalent in the smokehouse.
That is on our website, and we have been selling them, Caesar. We've been selling them. So.
Going from the best lube in the game to the best headgear in the game, Charm City. Mike over there.
Mike Thompson, another member of Team Smoke. Here we bring in Jesse again. Jesse played in Rico's first 10-man, some renegade team, and he kept saying, hey, I played with this guy, and he's awesome. We need to bring him on Team Smoke. And I'm like, we'll take a look at him, sure. Nobody knew who he was, and all of a sudden he comes to the first practice. We're like, he blew us away, and he's another one we can't get rid of, but we don't want to get rid of him because the guy's awesome. And
and has the best headgear in the game. Charm City stuff is awesome.
Made lately. Have you seen all those new stuff he's coming?
Oh, it's crazy.
Oh my God, it's crazy. And he sells them.
And the thing is that he's got the best stuff in the game because everybody's copying him.
Yeah.
Like.
Imitation
is the best flattery. Mike hit everybody with that 3-stripe design, and
now everybody's coming out.
Yeah, everyone's jumping on that.
Mike is a lone guy who has a sewing machine that sits in his house, and he does it all by himself. And the guy is detail just to the. I mean, he'll take up a competitor's headband and goes, "Look at this stitching! Look at this stitching! It's terrible." Yeah. I mean, he loves his work. He loves what he does. And he loves Team Smoke. I sent everybody's money for the house back yesterday for Rico's house because we didn't go. So Airbnb refunded me the money. And as soon as I sent him, my phone's ringing. Mike goes, hey, I just saw you sent money back. I just want to call and say hi. What's going on? The guy's awesome. I mean, he really is.
Yeah, it's with this whole virus thing, that everything's postponed and all that. But me and Mike are constantly, every UFC fight.
Oh, I know. You
talking shit back and forth about the UFC fights.
I saw him a couple weeks ago when we practiced at Rico before Rico's got canceled. He drives like 4.5 hours all the way up to Rico's, Texas, and goes all the way up home. But dude, he was balling, man. I mean, he was freaking balling. Yeah. Excellent player. He's been around forever. Awesome. Not just an awesome player, but he's an awesome guy. And if we have you on Team Smoke, you're a pretty good guy.
I mean, we
don't ask anybody.
We don't. We don't keep scrubs around.
No.
So.
And
then so we've gone from the best inside the gun to the best headwear.
Yeah.
Best regs in the game, powerhouse. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. Kyle. We got Kyle from Farside, that plays for Farside, where Asley works for Powerhouse, and it took us forever. I think we started talking to them the second
early
ICC.
On.
And then we finally got the deal done at last year's ICC, and then we got them right before the last tournament.
Got the smoke regs with the logo and everything, and the extra devil's lettuce laser engraving on there.
So I just got some in, and as a matter of fact, I have. If anybody's available, I got 2 shorts ready to go.
Yeah, they come in the shorts and the longs, so you can get that between the different bottle lengths nowadays and the efficiency of these new guns. I remember back in the day with the old matrices, I mean, you were shooting an 88 just to get 10 pods out.
If that.
And now, yeah.
Well, with Pat's mod, the bolt mod, we could get
with the bolt mods and the couple other things you could get there. But and nowadays, like the Gamma Core, like I mean, I was
with my 88, I can sit 14 and still have air left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was shooting an 88 just because I like the length of it.
Yeah.
I would end up with a smaller tank and a long reg now.
Your brother's talking 98 with our new tanks. We got some new tanks coming out with custom design ones. He's talking 98 because he wants to carry as many pods as he wants.
He'll carry 18.
And he'll shoot them all, and then
he'll shoot every one of them.
Yeah.
And then he'll shoot them all, and then he'll run over in the middle of a game from one corner to the other corner, take all of your pods, and then run back to the other corner.
That's a funny story, man. The Lane's tournament, Atlanta, we were playing far side, and I was in one corner, he was in another corner. You were out that game, but you were right next to me.
Yeah, I was.
It was me, Anthony. BBD was still in. I think there was one. I don't know.
Yeah, and these are those moments that should never happen.
And this is a big.
If anyone's ever seen my brother run, my brother runs like Charlie Brown. Like both of his feet are off the ground at the same time. Like he doesn't run like a normal human being, and he plays not to sweat. Like he doesn't. He's one of the best shots I've ever seen. He can gunfight with literally anyone.
When he won that one-on-one in October at the last ICCL,
with Saber Wolves.
Saber was he won the one-on-one, and then he did not want to run. He was the only one left, but he did not want to run that. And he was so out of breath when he ran. If
you see the video that recently just came out, the whole end of that video, it's him winning that one-on-one, and you see him win the one-on-one. And then you immediately see him switch to, shit, I got to go get the flag.
And it was like 30 seconds left, I think, or something.
Yeah. And,
he about died. So anyway, in Atlanta, he's in one corner, I'm another, and we still got like 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
And he's like, Tony, you got any paint? I'm out of paint. I'm like, what? So he runs from one corner all the way over. How he got hit? I don't know how he got hit.
That's my point. Is the things that he does randomly.
Oh my God.
That doesn't make sense. So he runs from one corner all the way over to Tony's corner.
And I'm shooting. I got Brock. If everybody knows Brock, Brock is in my mirror, and me and Brock are going back and forth the whole time. And he's just Ant's already dumped, I think, 12 pods and a hopper. Yep. And he
runs over to Tony. Tony's got 3 pods.
Yeah.
Ant takes 2.
Yeah.
Leaves Tony with a pod and then runs back over to his corner and survives.
I'm yelling at him the whole time, Anthony, you need to conserve your paint. You need to learn how to conserve your paint.
As soon as Ant gets to the other bunker, Tony reaches for a pod and realizes he only has one left because Anthony is just taking the rest of it.
God damn it, Anthony. I was And then he shoots those 2 in the next minute. I think he had like half a hopper left at the end of the game.
Maybe. Yeah. It stalemated the game.
But we won on bodies. That's Anthony. We got so many stories. When we have Anthony on, it's going to be freaking unbelievable.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have kids turn into Anthony's podcast.
Parental.
I've done really well to try to keep this PG for all the kiddos.
Yeah. So,
but
all right. Well, let's finish up. I went outside the box this year for some sponsorships.
We got 2 big ones this year. We got that are outside of the paintball industry. We've got Bucked Up Supplements and Bucked Up Sups.
Bucked Up. I found this company called Bucked Up. Boom, right there. Bam. I use this religiously, not just because it's our sponsor, but it's phenomenal stuff. Everybody was coming out to me the last tournament. Hey, you got any of that pre-bucked, pre-workout?
Pre-workout?
Yeah. I mean, everybody from people I didn't even know. I'm like, yeah, here's a scoop, and Jason Edwards came over and he goes, hey, how's that fucked up stuff? I was like, well, here, come text. So he comes back a little later. I was like, how was it? He goes, man, I got all tingly. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff. People don't know about this company. It's they put deer antler velvet in there. And
it's deer antler velvet extract is
and
it's shown like the science of it is really good for anti-inflammation and recovery and things like that.
It used to be on the anti-doping.
Because it helps boost. It does a lot of
muscle
good stuff.
Regrowth. But they took it off, so it's totally legal. And matter of fact, I use the pre-workout. I use the amino acids for when I work out.
Branch chain amino acids.
Branch chains. And then I deer antler spray. I use it in the morning and at night. And I'm telling you, it works. I'm not just because it's our sponsor, but the stuff works. I started really, everybody knows I'm 53 years old. Well, tomorrow I'll be 53.
Your birthday's tomorrow?
Yeah, my birthday's tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to send some messed up stuff to your Facebook.
Yeah, thanks. So when I made the decision to come back to paintball, I really started hitting the gym hard. I did lose a lot of weight. I got down to 178, 180, somewhere around there. Kept it on most of the last couple of years, but this year I decided to hit the gym really hard, get heavier in weights, and I gained 10 pounds. And then I guarantee when I started taking the branch amino acids, it's helped me gain that, that extra muscle. So now I'm like 195, but it's not
nice.
It's like muscle. It's not. I'm not fat.
Yep.
I'm still 34 waist, which I've when I got
in
my previous life, when I was like 200, 190, 200, I was like 36, and my face was But now I still feel good. But it works, man. It really. I don't know what else I can say about it. The stuff works. They have a whole bunch of stuff. They even have a women's line that you can get. Whenever me and Sabrina work out, we use both the stuff. Her daughter uses it. Matter of fact, her daughter still comes and steals all my stuff, so I got to reorder. But yeah.
So, which, by the way, we still have the promo code for that.
It is Smoke1. If you go to buckedup.com, order anything, when you go into your cart, just put in the code Smoked1 or Smoke1, and you get 20% off of your whole order. So, good stuff. Really good stuff. I'm glad I found it.
That takes care of the pre-workout and the workout. As far as recovery, we've got Venga CBD. CBD. Another out of this, they're water soluble CBD company that's huge into the endurance athlete world. Amazing company.
That's all they hit up.
That's all they do.
That's all they do. It's kind of a test this year for us because they don't know about paintball yet. We're trying to introduce them to paintball. So hopefully, being on the podium the last 2 times, bless you. We continue to be on the podium. I think it's going to work out good next year. So something to look forward for.
And then the last one is Matty.
Matty Fresh.
Matty Fresh's group, the Man Crew, hooking us up with all the pods that we need.
Matt's like I said, him and Keith, played at my field when they were teenagers. I brought him on my team, and now I brought him to Team Smoke. I tried for a year to get Matt to come play with us, and he's like, I don't know. Now he's like, God, you just see him. That's all he does all day. He came up with how many new T-shirts today? I think he said.
The T-shirt designs, and then
our new T-shirts coming out. It's awesome. That's all he does. He sits home and designs up. I just posted a video on YouTube, our YouTube channel yesterday, and all over Facebook. He did that on his own. I mean, the guy's he's a freak, man. He just comes up with stuff. So.
Been coming up with good stuff.
But he helps us with our pods. They have he works for the NXL. When they build all the fields and the cleanup crew and all that, but he also has a side business on the side where he has a little tent in the back. You don't even know where it's at, and he sells pods out there. And he's well known. He'll sell out of all his pods, every event. And
so all you people that out there that go out on the NXL fields and leave your pods, thank you.
Thank you. Because I have about 3 or 4 bags, and probably I have a lot of teams stickers on there.
Yeah.
So but thanks you. So Matt Fresh, he's an awesome player. The last tournament he balled. God, he always plays in front of me, and he is just he's a baller, and we're glad to have him. We can't wait to get back again. So he's back. He goes back and forth between here and Tahoe. So he works for a ski resort up there. So he's back in Florida now, though. So he's all doing all his design work, which is good for us. A lot of our shirts on our online store, which is coming up now, is our online store. We just started. Big help from Dustin Loeffler. He plays on Brimstone. Really took hold of our store and just exploded.
It was a hope and a dream, and then Dustin got a hold of it and turned it into a reality pretty much overnight.
BBD is the one who designed our website. And we've been wanting an online store for 2 years and never just did it. But it's going really good.
Between all of our sponsor products that's on there, the bang switch, the hair valve, the ultra silk, all the t-shirts and soft goods, and it's doing really well. So
what do you think about this? We got 2 teams now, first time ever.
Other than 5-man, it's the first time we've ever had 2 10-man teams.
2 10-man teams.
We did run 2 7-man squads at one event where we had a pro squad and an AM squad. Just lasted one event though.
But this is we took one of we took 2 of our guys that played on Smoke, Travis Brock and Mike Thompson, Charm City. We asked them to, because we were getting people from, we were getting so many people. We could literally put 3 teams. Seriously.
We could have a GZ style situation where we've got 47 teams in the end.
So we asked them to, hey, would you run this team for us? At one time I was almost doing everything. Thank God for Dustin. Thank God for Matt. Anthony stepped up for a couple things. So they stepped in and they ran the first tournament out of the box. No practices at all going into the tournament, and they had to win. They came into Sunday and they had to win both their games was ball to make it, and they did. And I was very proud of them. I watched them, and they So very proud of all them guys. It's like half St. Louis guys, half my Florida guys.
It's St. Louis and Florida.
Little Oklahoma
with that
action.
With that crazy Okie. That
Kugel.
Crazy Okie in there.
So
Chad Kugel from back in the day. We used to battle it out when he was
played with Brass Eagle. Jeff Crouppen from Brass Eagle plays for Smoke. We got, to me, one of the best rosters there is.
We got solid players, man.
Well,
but
so it's good to be doing all this. I'm really excited, especially as the store's going. Thank God for Deadly Win and Liquid, because otherwise, But it's helped us sell some other stuff too, because some of the guys buying that stuff is stepped up and bought a T-shirt here.
We got some, and we got some some pretty cool new T-shirt designs coming out. We still have the old school T-shirts on there, the old school Mechanical University that was originally a smoke and paintball product way back in the day.
Exactly.
And we've re-released those with some new colorways. Got some new smoke T-shirts in the works. So store's going well.
It's going good.
Keep a lookout for the new custom bottles that'll be on there before too long, probably.
They are. We heard May, I think. Was that what it was? End of
May.
Yeah.
Well, and that was tentative before the craziness hit. So,
so who knows?
We'll see what happens there. But definitely before ICC
Yeah.
There'll be something pretty special.
Thank God. We hope AICC goes on. I mean, it's so much far ahead. I think it should go on. It's just such a big lull in between then and now. So, and that's the one thing about, we do good when we go to tournaments, but we just don't practice. We're from all over. If nobody knows it, I have like 4 or 5 O's down here in Florida. Jonathan's.
Well, we've always been that way,
and we have. I mean, but it was always mostly central. I mean, the farthest away was Dean from Texas. Those guys.
Well, yeah. So the original team, you had me and my brother from the farm.
Yeah.
You had the Detroit connection. So you had Garen and all them, which was 4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
BBD you could put with us. He was 45 minutes away in Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah.
But then you had the Louisville guys that were 4 hours away.
Right.
Then you had you and Pat in basically Chicago, which was 8 hours away.
And then we brought Tristan, who was in Wisconsin, which was
Tristan and Robin the Kill Brockner. They were from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then, Dean and his crew, we brought them in.
Those guys would drive all night long and then
Longview, Texas. Yeah, another quick little story. I remember we were practicing at Dean's Field. And so we drove the Ultimate Airball van, which was an 18-passenger Dodge van. Me and BBD and Ant load up in the van with an airball field in the back. And we leave out Friday after work. And we left Friday essentially at lunchtime. And it was 18.5 hours straight that we drove. We just took turns driving. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and we were outside on the beltway of Little Rock, Arkansas. And I wake up to my brother driving, hanging out of the driver's side window, screaming every obscenity that you can imagine at the driver in front of him because he was in the path lane and was not doing 100 miles an hour. And Ann is flipping this guy up, screaming obscenities at this guy, laying on the horn at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I looked and assessed the situation, and I was like, I'm going back to sleep because I don't want to be awake for this when this goes bad. Like, I'll just if and when it goes bad, I'll just be asleep when it happens. Yeah, we drove 18.5 hours to Dean's Field in Longview, Texas. So.
Yeah. Well, Tristan's first practice with Team Smoke, we drove from Illinois to Maryland. We were practicing Nasty.
Yeah.
We drove. You guys, I think some of you guys said it was only 8 hours. It ended up being 14 hours, I think.
Yep.
We drove all night long. We got out of the car at 8 o'clock in the morning. We practiced all day, and then him and I got back in the car and drove all the way back, 14 hours back. Yeah. Now
things we do for this sport.
Jeez, kids complain now if they got to drive an hour to the friggin' field.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I remember, what really sunk our teeth into the whole travel thing was back practices, and we would drive. What was it? We did 8 straight weekends at Badlands. And from Southern Ohio to Badlands was 8.5 hours.
Yeah. I remember you guys were always
8 straight weekends to Badlands.
You would be rolling out of the friggin' van just half awake and
just put on the same gear that hadn't been washed. 'Cause you know the Call brothers.
I know.
Yeah. You never wash off game.
What are you going to do with that brand new jersey up there?
Oh, that one's retired because that was last year. So that one will stay. Yeah, that one will stay the way it is.
Yeah.
The new one will never get washed, just like all my other gear. I still haven't washed the other stuff from ICC 2 years ago.
Oh, God.
It's sitting right over here, like my old Diablo shirt.
He always gets on me for washing all my stuff, but I don't know.
No. I don't care that you wash your stuff, but when I send you extra stuff.
Oh, you're like, don't wash my stuff.
When you send it back clean, that's when I have an issue.
All right.
Yep. I guess that's the first one in the books there, bud.
That is in the books, man. I do appreciate your time, man. I know you got the family life. I got the family life.
We were expecting an hour, and it went, what, 2.5 probably?
Yeah, it's I don't know what time it is. 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
My time. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, it's the same. We're still on Eastern.
All right.
I'm not far enough west for Central.
Well, this is the first of many. I appreciate it. I know we'll have you on again.
Yeah, for sure.
We get you and your brother on at the same time. I don't know how that.
Oh God. That'll go about, yeah. That'll go. There'll be stories.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So.
All right, man. I do appreciate it. Be safe in this crazy world right now.
Yeah,
we'll
for
see
sure.
Each other soon.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And always says smoke another.
Oh yeah. Thanks, man. Good night.
Later, bro.
Later.
I was thinking about actually decreasing my availability.
Oh my God.
To taking a Saturday off.
You think the podcast will be on?
You're not gonna believe this.
Did it record?
No, I didn't push record. I just now realized that. Fucking God. I don't even want to tell Jonathan.
Holy shit. What do you mean record? Like they can't see your face? No.
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Hold on.